Welcome to the WMMA Today podcast with Drake Riggs and I, Steve King. We are late because of me um, on this 43rd episode of the WMMA Today podcast. We're coming up on the 50th, a big 50,
Ooh,
and 7 more episodes, couple months. UFC 260 recap. We have Submission Underground recap with a couple of good matches that took place. Some fight news, and then really only one fight, and that was, or that will be Bellator 255 preview. So let's. Hello, Sammy and Ghost Phantom. Welcome, you guys.
welcome.
So let's get started with the recap of UFC 260, where we had Marion Maverick beat Jillian Robertson by unanimous decision. I thought it was a hell of a fight, man. I'm actually pretty surprised that it didn't get an award, a performance award.
It was a good one. It was a good one for Miranda Maverick. I'll say that, but definitely not as much of a domination or completely one-sided as I
Right.
think we probably both expected, at least that I expected, that second round in particular. And I did feel like Miranda kind of got off to somewhat of a slow-ish start, just compared to how she usually starts off, but it didn't
Yeah.
end up being a problem, obviously. And the stats here kind of showed a bigger differential than I felt like, but the numbers are very lopsided here. So take that for what it is. It's always kind of interesting to see the numbers after the fact, but I felt like it was a little bit closer than that in the striking or just strikes landed throughout the entire course of the fight. But in the totals, you see over 100, 99, more landed for Miranda, which is pretty absurd. Whenever you can outland somebody by essentially 100 strikes. And then the thing was that second round where Jillian had her most success, as you can see, all that control time, hit the two takedowns. And at first I was kind of like, all right, well, that was where Robertson was going to have her success, and she ended up finding it there. Impressive, good job for her. Didn't tell us anything really new about her, what she's able to bring to the table. But then I thought, like, all right, that was kind of the worst part of the fight for Miranda. But then you think, like, well, she actually survived and hung in there and was transitioning, scrambling, and having, a lot of good escapes and what have you, and then ended up getting out in like the last 30 seconds and then poured it on a little bit there to clearly steal the round in two judges' eyes and a lot of people's eyes, which that's a whole nother debate we can get into. I thought that Robertson did win that round regardless, but yeah, so after thinking about it a little bit, this was a lot more impressive of a performance from Maverick to have gone through that second round the way that she did, as opposed to how I felt about it initially. So
Yeah, I was actually pretty surprised that Jillian Robertson was able to get those two takedowns of Maverick. I wasn't expecting it at all, but she did, and I mean, like you said, the second round was very good for Jillian. It's just Maverick is the better fighter. It's
yeah,
what we expected to happen was a win. It just didn't come as easily as we thought it would. Jillian Robertson is game. She's game as fuck, actually. Um, she's in there. She's in there for the whole fight. Um, she's an interesting one. I think if she works on her stand up, her ground game is really good. If she works on her stand up, she can be a good. Well, we would be talking about her beating Maverick. If she had a better striking,
yeah.
because her ground game is better than Miranda Maverick's is.
From a submission standpoint, I think
Right.
definitely.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I don't know about
yeah,
overall,
her
like
takedowns.
Mavericks. Yeah, that is true. I don't know, but it's like historically what we've seen from Maverick, like on her come up through Invicta, like that was the thing that I remember like pointing out most about her. You know, like the pressure she put on and was just a grinder, was really nasty on the ground, would get people down, smother them.
Yeah,
And then she's really developed her striking a lot lately. And of course, as we've seen in these two UFC fights. So she's kind of always had that ability, I think, just not so
yeah,
much. Definitely not the same type of submission capabilities that Robertson had, but she was able to hang in there and survive, you know, some back takes and then, you know, get on Robertson's back herself. So yeah, man, we knew she's been very quickly improving, you know, just evolving as time has gone on, but this was it was good to see her go through the most dangerous parts of the fight for her because we knew that she was pretty safe everywhere except for, you know, on the ground below, you know, Robertson. So she pretty much passed this test with flying colors. Despite us predicting her to find a finish, you know, she still did very, very well.
yeah.
And Ghost Phantom would agree.
Yeah, Maverick looked really good. Her 7 cross and exit with the lead hand was brilliant. And then Sammy said, Maverick is the prospect that Barber thinks she is. Mike's MMA pick said that. That's pretty funny, actually. I didn't see that, but
Well, that's probably fair. You know, Mike knows what he's talking about. That's a good, fair comment, I think.
welcome, Nagao. Miranda is pretty talented on the ground for her to be able to reverse position in the second round.
Yep.
Yeah, she's her wrestling technique. She's really good. She's not just the striker. You know that people think she is. She's better. She's better than just a striker.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying about if you watched her coming up in her whole career, as you and I pretty much have, because it's mostly been in Invicta. Like she's known. We knew her more for her grappling. So this is kind of that new evolution to her game of her just becoming a very well-rounded overall mixed martial artist. And you know, it's awesome to see. You love to see this kind of progression from somebody, especially who's only she's 23 right now, like still quite young.
Yeah, she's young. And then James, welcome.
Welcome, James.
Maverick was just using the basics to escape when Jillian had her back. Good stuff.
Yep, very patient.
I just think that she was patient and she was the stronger fighter.
Yeah.
She's just better. She's just a better fighter than Jillian Robertson. But I mean, that's okay for Jillian.
Yeah, she's still young too, you know.
Yeah.
Like, I forget she's like 25, 26, but just a lot more you know, one-dimensional with a very clear strength and, you know, needs to really work on the rest of the game.
Yeah,
So,
she does. But I mean, I don't think that she'll ever be what the UFC wants her to be. You know, I think they put these girls on the main card for Jillian Robertson more than Miranda Maverick.
I don't know. I don't know about that. Especially after Jillian's
so.
what?
They still want Jillian to be the seen as a good one, you know?
Yeah, that's fair, I guess.
She's Canadian. She has that. She's got that marketability.
Originally, though, Steve, remember this fight was supposed to be like one of the first fights, but this card completely collapsed. You know, so.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, there were other fights that they could have put on the main card.
Yeah,
of UFC, a kind of a big card with Stipe Miocic, you know, and Francis Ngannou.
Yeah, very true. So either way, you know, worked out for
it worked out for them. It worked out for them, and I mean, Miranda Maverick showed out.
Yeah, definitely. So
I really do think that this fight should have got a performance award. It was the best fight on the card.
I mean the first fight was pretty good, and then the light heavyweights, Bukauskas, and Alashchuk was pretty good too.
They didn't get a performance award either.
Yeah, they didn't. They gave fight of the night to Woodley and Luque, which it was short, but it was very fun. But it was shorter, you know, than all these other ones we're talking about, which is always where you're like, eh.
It was just Luque. Like, I mean, what did Woodley even do? Like he didn't do he
He rocked her. He hit
he
him.
rushed a couple of times. Like I mean, that's it. That was it. That's not a fight. That's not a performance award winning fight. Hi, Alex.
Oh, he's a stand account now.
Oh, okay. He's a Monster at
Fair,
and
fair choices.
Maverick, Random Maverick stand account. That's nice.
Appreciate that. Can appreciate that account. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Like for me, when I think of a fight of the night or fights that are really, great fights, what defines a great fight? I need
We
a
didn't even get a
competitive,
great fight on that card, dude.
yeah, like a great fight. Yeah, probably not. Because like for me, I need a really competitive back and forth battle that's, at least like two full rounds.
This went all three rounds,
one and a
and
half.
it was competitive the whole time.
I mean, I don't think it was as competitive as the other two that I mentioned, but I hear what you're saying, but so
I mean,
Makoto
not that I
here,
care. It doesn't matter to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
It's whatever. But I mean, it would be
for
nice
them more money.
yeah, it would be nice for the girls to get fucking more money. Okay, so I saw Miranda's Invicta fights. People don't realize her top position was really good, and she just
Yes,
added striking when she got to the UFC.
yeah, that was her strength on the come up, man. Like that was always the thing. We were like, shit, if Maverick gets you down, you're in some trouble. And
Malls.
she's completely reversed the perception of her, already. Like incredible in such a short period of time. That's when somebody is very talented and probably going to stick around for a good while. And we've been talking kind of about fighters who have been getting rushed recently, in the last year or so, specifically in the flyweight division. Obviously, Macy Barber, Agapova, not so much, but there's some names. Casey O'Neill, we're afraid of that being the case with this next
Yeah.
matchup. And then this one, we didn't really feel that way because you can just kind of see and tell, where people are at. And when they match him up like this one that they did here, it's like Robertson probably wasn't the toughest fight for Maverick. Like Pearl Gonzalez, like you look at who she's fought before, she's already fought some very, very talented people in contrast with, let's say, the Macy Barbers or the Casey O'Neills. Not that they aren't great fighters in their own right, but just like people need to show a little bit more before you just launch them up there. Even Antonina, that's a good person to shout to. There's something about the UFC and the flyweight so far has been not. They've just been very impatient. So with that in mind, though, Steve, I think that we should, like, where does Miranda go next from here? Because now she's probably going to be like back at the top 15, right? And I personally I think shout out to Ghost Phantom for this one. He mentioned to me Maverick versus Barber, which I think that probably makes a lot of sense, but it's like
I don't think the UFC wants that fight.
right, exactly. That's the problem.
For
It's kind of
Barber.
like the Hebos situation too. Is like, who do they want to give her next? That's not super risky, but like a step down. Like that's that's the trouble that they're in with these fighters.
Yeah, I mean yeah, exactly. That's the problem with ranking fighters now. Like it's you have to give them tough fights. One of the fighters are going to lose eventually.
Yeah, definitely. And Alex, I see you here with Maverick versus Antonina, which yeah, I think that one's fine too. But at the moment, we got to see who comes out of. She's fighting Andrea. Excuse me, always mix the Lees up. Andrea Lee next,
Yeah.
which you could do the winner of that one. I mean, you could do the
I would
loser
like
as
to
well,
see
but
Maverick and Lee fight. I would be perfectly fine with that. I don't think the UFC will do Macy Barber just because they want Macy Barber to turn it around.
yeah,
Um, but I would be fine with Andrea Lee win or lose for Maverick. You would assume that Maverick's going to be number 15 because Jillian
and Lee
Roberts.
probably needs to win that though, because that would be 4 in a row, man. That's
Yeah, well,
a
she's
little
still ranked.
sketch.
She's number 11. They're not going to cut. They wouldn't cut her, I don't think.
We'll see. we'll see. She really needs that win though. That's
She
for
does,
sure. So
but I mean, she does. Shevchenko's not an easy fight.
yeah, no, I think that they're a very interesting style matchup for both of them. I'm really looking forward to that fight actually. So
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really good fight.
yeah, so then Sammy here with the comment before all of that, kind of on the same note with the barber talk.
Yeah, Sammy says the good thing about Miranda is that the UFC won't push her as hard as Barber and will mature as a fighter better than Barber. She'll definitely mature better.
She already has.
Yeah,
She
for
already
sure.
has.
Macy Barber is an immature, very immature person. Um, so yeah, Maverick is already. I think Maverick's a better fighter than Macy Barber. To be honest, if they do that fight, I would pick Barber or Maverick.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that would be safe too. And it's also like you got to consider, I don't think that this is much of a factor or even something we really should be talking about, but I know commentary mentioned it. And then I think Joe Rogan even asked her afterward. But this was a performance from Maverick that was after cutting weight like weeks ago. Like she went through 2 weight cuts for this. And, that could be a thing. She still looked very good. And now that's in people's head about like whether or not she would have looked even better if that, she didn't have to do that, but I don't know. So
How was the commentary for UFC 260?
you turned it up.
Always.
Always.
But
It was
lately I have been turning it off with Rogan and Cormier together. I can't stand it, dude. I literally listened to Ariel Helwani Spaces with Darren Till.
seemed like an entertaining time.
It was entertaining as fuck.
And you never listen to Big Nose.
Let me tell you, Darren Till, that dude's insane. I love him. Like, I want him to win everything. Like it would be insane if Darren Till was a champion. Like it would be fucking crazy if Darren Till was a champion.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Dude, it would
that'd be a
crazy.
crazy time.
Yeah.
And Alex, real quick, I just checked your DM, and I don't know if do you want us to talk about this? Or, tell me if you want me to mention this on air before I do. That's very interesting, though. I'll definitely tell you, Steve, before, or I'll tell you after if he says to keep it quiet. But interesting note there from Alex. Makoto here chiming in again with the barber matchup. Doesn't like it. Yeah, I agree with him.
He says that's not a good matchup for Barber. Maverick has striking that makes sense and has a good ground game.
Yeah. So, interesting note from Alex, though, as he's he'll do it. He's hitting me with the, what was it, the Starsky and Hutch gif. He didn't do the gif, but that's what I imagine every time I hear do it. He says that Maverick told him, because he spoke to Maverick before the fight, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, Alex. She said to him that UFC offered her Calvillo even, but Calvillo turned it down, which that's understandable, I think, for Calvillo to turn that fight down.
Why would she take that fight?
Yeah, that's high risk, low reward.
That fight
for
does
her.
not make sense for Calvillo at all. An unranked fighter against a number 5 fighter.
Is he really at 5?
Yeah, I think so. Hold on.
Okay, well that's absurd on both ends. Then the UFC, like as much as have been saying that wouldn't be as much of a fast tracking for Maverick, that is still such an attempt at doing so. That pisses me off a little bit. Like, God, these fucking they never learn. The UFC has learned nothing.
Calvillo's number 5. They're not going to do that fight.
Yeah, that's insanity.
Calvillo would be crazy to agree to that shit.
Yeah, and that's why she didn't. If that is true, which no reason not to believe Maverick. So,
no, I mean I believe Maverick, but
and especially considering the UFC's fucking track record. So that's crazy. That is crazy.
Dude, could you imagine like Miranda getting a text of, hey, what about Miranda Maverick? Like who? Is this girl even ranked? Well, hold on, let me check the rankings really quick. She's not ranked. I don't think so. No.
Yeah, that's insane. But this is funny. I like this comment from Makoto about how he views, how he watches.
Actually, the Spanish commentary is actually really, really good. I watch the Spanish commentary so I can hear the sound of the hits, but not understand the commentary. I like the Spanish commentary.
Well, you know
I really
Spanish, don't you, Steve?
do. I
Yeah.
really do like them. They're better than Joe Rogan and Daniel Cormier.
Who is it
Sammy
right now?
Sammy says, I also turned the sound off. It's a lot better, but like to hear the sound of the hits. I wish
Mm,
there was an option to hear the mic in the octagon. We're not see our next event is that the next event is that going to be with people in the stands?
no. The next one's the Till card,
Is
right?
that
So
still in
that's
Vegas?
yes.
That's at the
Yeah.
Apex.
Yeah.
So okay, so when do they go? Is it 261 where they go back to live
Yeah,
in
24.
Jacksonville, right? So we're not going to be able to hear everything once they go back to live events again with people in the stands and stuff.
Weird. So weird to think about, huh?
Um,
You get so used to that.
it's been a year. It's been a year now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a year without fans, and it's kind of a hot topic. How do you feel about it? I'm okay with it, with fans not being in the stands.
Not being there, yeah. I mean, as a guy who still trying to get completely over COVID myself right now. Um, and I'm a lot better. You guys do not worry. It's been a full 2 weeks for me now, so I'm just dealing with like brain fog right now, which is the most fucking annoying thing. The whole thing has been just incredibly annoying to have a lingering sickness for so long. Like especially as somebody who when I get sick, it's like only for like 2-3 days generally, depending on like just a common cold or
Yeah,
whatever. But just having something for so long is like for to feel that way, you're like, this is the worst. So I'm just like, yeah. um I as for the crowds and everything, I don't think it's a responsible thing, since we're not completely out of the woods with this. And
we're not.
um I all for people, do what you want, but at the same time, like, if you want things to go back to normal, we have to do things a certain way. Look at other countries, and the best example is probably like Australia, who doesn't have it at all anymore. They're like completely back to normal, which
Yeah, it's
is like
crazy. They get like one person with it, and they shut everything down for a week.
didn't let anybody into the country.
It's
There
pretty
you go.
wild.
Look at
It's
that.
pretty wild what
Solves.
Australia is doing. They got that shit on lock.
They've been good for like months now, dude. It's ridiculous. Like, it frustrates me so much to hear about that. Like, no, good for them, but like for us, like, why can we not just do the thing that
Um,
is obviously the best,
for
best thing?
America, it's because Americans are stubborn as fuck and
Yes.
don't really give a fuck about anybody but themselves. Um, man, America just has really shown its true colors during this really, really hard fucking time in the world. Like, America has been a laughing stock for the past 4 years because of presidency, but then COVID takes over, and now we're being laughed at again, like because of the way that COVID is being handled here. It's like, mm,
Yeah,
it,
let's not get super political.
I know, like it. I want to, like, I want to go, I want to go hard, but I'm not going to.
Yeah. Greetings, Rain. Good to see you again.
Welcome,
Coming
Rain.
here. Yes.
James says, I feel like Rogan and DC are just podcasting. Fuck it. Why don't we just do it? Drake.
Yeah, dude. Why not? Why not? That's funny though. I've seen a lot of people mentioning that lately, and it's hilarious because in the beginning, I really enjoyed like DC on commentary because it was kind of a new and really fun, entertaining vibe. But
Yeah,
now
his
it's
bias, dude.
yeah, the bias and kind
Oh,
of it's
man.
like multiplying in ignorance a little bit when something is off. They kind of just both roll with it way too hard.
It's bad. Like, I would, you know, Dominic Cruz is not Dominic Cruz isn't my cup of tea. I would rather have
My
Dominic.
guy.
I would rather have Dominic Cruz with Rogan than DC with Rogan.
Because he doesn't let that stuff slide.
He does not. He doesn't. Like he's very straight to the point with things. Whereas it's pretty wild that Daniel Cormier and Joe Rogan are together.
Yeah, and it's happening
for
pretty
for pay-per-views. For the pay-per-views. Bisping is amazing, dude. Why isn't he on that shit? He's at the desk. He's doing the thing with Karen Bryant. Like, why isn't he doing commentary?
Yeah, even Felder, he's
Felder's
been hanging
really
out in the
good.
back too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, Felder's really good too. Dan Hardy was really good as well. I really like Dan Hardy.
Yeah.
He's kind of a dick, but I mean, it's okay. It's okay. It's not you don't get the bro type of feel, the bros, like between Rogan and DC, and to me it kind of leaves Anik out. Anik doesn't talk.
Right. I forget that he's there.
Anik doesn't talk, dude. I feel bad.
Yeah.
Like, and he's the smartest dude out of the three when it comes to like MMA knowledge, like in commentary and stuff. John Anik's the best out of the three of them, and he's completely shut out.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's very interesting, the combinations we're seeing lately, but let's continue rolling on with the show. Getting awfully sidetracked here, but plenty to talk about, you guys. I mean, actually a shorter lineup today and what have you, and only one fight to preview, which we'll get to. Very excited for that one, but a pretty light load, so bear with us here. As we had some grappling yesterday and seemed like a very fun show. Unfortunately, I missed this one. I was not feeling too great yesterday. It's kind of hit me, but just kind of laid low. Steve, Amanda Lowen does it again.
She's amazing, dude. Amanda Lowen beat Roxanne Modafferi by armbar in overtime. She's amazing. Like, she's really tough. She's going to be really tough to beat. She's going to be a champion for a long time.
Yep, it's nothing, no surprise, and it's going to take somebody who is not primarily an MMA fighter. We've said this pretty much after every win, or it's going to take an MMA fighter who is an incredible jiu-jitsu artist, like a Jandiroba, a Dern, a Nunes, one of those. Cyborg, I would love to see Cyborg versus Lowen. That would be really interesting. And so,
I think Dern would be fun.
Yes, that would probably be the best one. That would be awesome.
I think Dern would actually probably beat Lowen.
Only one way to find out. I'd love to see it.
But I mean,
Lowen is incredible.
Lowen's really good. She worked Roxanne's arm. She was like cranking on it and twisting and turning and stuff. Yeah. Roxanne held on, and she uses her legs. Her legs are strong as fuck. Amanda Lowen's legs are strong.
She's just so methodical with everything she does.
She makes it look so easy, and it's not.
Yeah, that's very, very accurate. Just kind of floats, gets it done there. And Rue's in the house. Good to see you, sir. Asking about how Submission Underground works with fighters in different promotions. Well, since it is grappling, I don't think the other promotions really care too much to, they have to allow them to do it.
Chael actually talked about that on the last yesterday. He said that he contacts the fighters, and then the fighters say yes or no, and then he contacts Bellator or the UFC or whomever. And Scott Coker, he's close with Scott Coker, obviously, and he's close with Dana White. Yep. So all he does is text them, and they always say yes.
Yeah, it's cool that he talked about that because something that.
Well, they talked about it. They talked about it during the Limele and I match because Bellator and UFC.
Perfect segue, Steve. No.
Okay, so Elimele McFarland did beat Jessica I by armbar. Again, another armbar
Yep.
in overtime this time. Elimele just she is Jessica I. She's tough. She's very
That's
tough,
about it.
but Elimele is a grappler. She's a very good grappler. Um,
Very
Elimele
good.
is really, really, really good. It's nice to see her get going again, competitive juices going again. She wanted to do grappling tournaments and not take a fight yet, um, which is nice to see for her. I would assume coming off a loss to her for her title, that's probably pretty hard, you know.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see her get back in there and beat Jessica Guy by a pretty sweet armbar. But Jessica Guy's tough as fuck.
Yeah, I saw the highlight of her escaping. What was there, a triangle in regulation?
Right.
Lima almost got her in the
Yeah.
regulation time.
All going down to the clock.
Mm.
Yep. Going to down on the wire and Jessica Guy held on, and I mean the armbar happened in overtime. It's pretty easy actually for Lee.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Jessica I is just collecting paychecks and L's and submission underground. That's all she does.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think that's what it's about. Is but she's also a competitor.
Yeah.
So I mean, but
I just don't know if this is the smartest
right.
way to, get better. Because the
No,
opponents she's taking on are just
she's
like,
losing to much better grapplers.
yeah, exactly. So
It's not like she's taking on who's not a good grappler in the UFC.
That's such a broad question.
I know, like somebody who isn't good. All the people who she's competing against are really good grapplers.
Yeah. Yeah, very true. So, oh well, she lost again. Jessica I still searches for that victory.
As long as she competes against people like Alima McFarland, she's never going to get a win.
Yeah.
Ghost Phantom says, as much as I hate Dern, why do you hate Dern? Ghost Phantom. She would do well in Submission Underground because of the rule set.
I mean, she would just do good because she's a great grappler.
She's a very good grappler. She's very legit Brazilian black belt grappler.
Very, very much so. But
Brandon says McFarland just had better timing and understanding of positions. Yeah, she's just better. You could tell right when she sunk that triangle in. The triangle was very nice.
yes, Limale is still quite good. Don't you forget it. And there was another matchup earlier on this card. Liz Tracy also pulled off an armbar, right, Steve? How was that one? I didn't see anything about this.
Liz Tracy is she's so tough. Man, she's so tough. She beat Kristen Mickelson by armbar in overtime. I actually talked to Jillian Corsi about how tough Liz Tracy is. She's incredible.
Tracy's always in fun fights too, like in MMA, Just always.
And grappling as well.
Yeah. So she gets it done. 3 arm bars for the ladies.
Yeah, it was nice. Very nice to see.
All in overtime too.
Yeah, all of them overtime. Well, that seems like that's the MO with Submission Underground, though.
Yeah.
A lot of their matches go to overtime.
Which no problem with it, just how it goes.
No, it's fine. Yeah, it's perfectly fine. We almost got Gabby Garcia yesterday against Craig Jones.
Yes.
It almost happened. Dude,
they're still gonna do it, right?
They were literally next to each other. Hopefully in a few weeks. I didn't see it, but I asked Nyla Pretty and Gee, like what happened, and she told me that people from out of the country weren't able to get the stream. We're having
Oh, well, they
difficulties
tried to
with the
put it
stream.
together so last second, like
Hmm. And it was going to
so.
be on Facebook, and like it was just weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe they
So
should maybe they should get that worked out
I think that's why it didn't happen.
prior. Well,
Like,
that's exactly what
yeah.
Nyla told me was why it didn't happen. They did a press conference,
Right. Right.
and they were literally sitting right next to each other and stuff, and they did a face off.
I saw that.
Craig Jones with a freaking bandana on,
You look so silly.
Gabby Garcia towering for him.
I am here for that. I'm here for that.
Yeah,
Mm,
I'm down. I want to watch that.
mm.
The good thing about Jessica Ai doing Submission Underground is that her grappling gets better even when she loses. If we're looking for a positive, yeah. But if
The
she,
rub, sorta.
yeah, if she continues to take on better grapplers, she's never going to win. It's just going to be a bunch of losses for her.
Yeah. It's I get what he's saying, and
No,
yeah,
yeah, I
it's
totally
it's just
understand.
it's a tough approach, and at this stage in her career, we'll see what kind of effect that has, and perfect segue once again. She will need it for her next fight because she does have that lined up.
Yeah, so Jessica's gonna take on Jennifer Maya at UFC 64 in July, all the way in July. That's so far away. It's very far off, but here we are. And yeah, she's gonna have her hands full with Jennifer Maya.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised by this booking. I would have. I don't have the rankings up right this moment, but I would have thought Jennifer Maya would have got somebody a little bit
Well, like
more.
who? Chikajian?
No, Chikagian's booked also.
Everybody's booked above her.
Okay, so
Jessica Andrade is number one. Chikajian is number two. Lauren Murphy, who we will get to, is
yes,
number three. Jennifer Maya is number four. So Calvillo is number five.
that could have been that probably would have been what I went with, honestly.
Jessica Ai is all the way down at number 8 now, and she's going to keep on dropping.
Yeah, and I think most people might agree that that's a generous spot. I've always felt that she's been a little bit too highly ranked. So yeah, I didn't see this coming. This is geez, a very very tough matchup to try and rebound off the JoJo loss. Um, yeah, it's should be a good fight for Jennifer Maya to rebound. It'll be I think it'll probably be fun, while it lasts, but I think it'll probably look pretty similar to the JoJo fight, honestly. JoJo versus I, not JoJo versus Maya, but you know, JoJo was pretty much in control of that whole fight where it was pretty fun. I was hanging in there as she generally does, but Calderwood was just winning the whole time. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it'll be kind of similar to that unless, Maya does want to take things to the ground and then she could maybe pull off a submission there as, we know
She
she's
would
capable of.
definitely pull off a submission if she gets her to the ground.
Yeah.
Jessica wouldn't be able to hang with Jennifer Maya on the ground.
Yeah. And see Sammy yeah, I totally agree. He's feeling the same way. Why not
Yeah, it makes
Calvillo?
sense. I mean, it's a better fight than Miranda Maverick for Calvillo.
Yeah, much more logical. That's for sure. Um, I don't know. That's kind of maybe something's going on with Calvio. Who knows? Maybe she's got an injury, or I don't think she's booked right now either. Not that I can
I
remember.
don't think
Right?
so.
I
No.
don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Um, yeah, Ghost Phantom with an early prediction, sort of.
Yeah. Ghost Phantom says Maya is just going to dominate in the clinch, take her down, then look for the RNC.
Yeah, that'll be trouble for I when things inevitably probably go to the clinch there. So, um,
She's going to
yeah,
get worked. Maya's going to
it's
work her.
it's good good stuff for Jennifer Maya, which I will never complain about. So, that fight it's far away though, so there is that
Yeah.
264 in July, and the fact, man, just like seeing bookings out that far makes me feel like, geez, we're
I hate it.
we're approaching the summer. Like this year's already going by very
I
quickly.
hate that they're booking all the way in July. Dude, look at what's happening every freaking card.
Yeah, that's true too. That is true, and we will see how the fucking reopenings affect things as
Dude,
well.
yeah.
That's a big worry. That's probably the biggest worry for me. Of course, I don't want any, like, just people in general to get the virus, but like if it's
Yeah.
already bad as is, like when the UFC does not have a bubble in America, they do a good job over in Fight Island because of Abu Dhabi's restrictions, but
Right.
here
There's
they
no bubble
freaking
here.
don't have shit here.
Yeah.
So that's really frustrating, actually, and that I'm very curious to see how loosey goosey they are with the freedoms in Florida at the end of April, and
Florida's the I don't give a fuck state.
exactly, but and the fact that they're making what all the fans, everybody who bought tickets, what
Dude,
they
did you see
agreed.
that? Yeah, that's crazy,
The
man. If you die, you die.
yeah, if they die, they die. Pretty much what is
It's
happening
not
there.
on us. They chose to be here.
Yeah, so good,
Uh
very interesting.
could you guys imagine if Calvillo lost to Maverick if she did accept the fight? Yes, I could imagine that because she probably would.
That's a really good fun
It's a
matchup.
good
I
fight.
think
It's
honestly,
a
I
good yeah.
that would be awesome, but it just doesn't really make sense right now.
It doesn't for Calvillo.
Especially for Calvillo, yeah,
Yeah,
especially,
like what we were saying. Like why? Why would she take that?
yeah. So
James says, you guys don't think we will be fully vaccinated by April? I just got mine last week since I'm a healthcare worker. Um,
probably not in
I don't think
like
so. They're
everybody,
saying
everybody. No, I
no.
don't.
They're saying in May for adults, most adults, majority of adults, and then they'll start doing kids.
And then if we're gonna think about Florida specifically, I don't know exactly what's going on with it over there, but like you said, they don't really care about anything, right? So
Yeah, well, that it's crazy because Florida, UFC is going to Florida, right? And
mhm.
then they're going to Houston,
Yeah,
another state, Texas, who doesn't give a fuck. They're open. They're another state that is open. So they're going to all these states that are just their restrictions are not as tough as say.
the restrictions are non-existent. They don't have any.
Well, yeah,
um,
yeah.
yeah, it's I don't know. We will see, James. It's a very interesting thing, and
I don't know, man. Like James is not against full crowds. Um, That's because you're smart and you're getting vaccinated, James.
yeah,
But that
and
but that doesn't mean that the other
everybody else. Yeah.
10,000, 15,000 people are vaccinated. That's the problem. It's not you, James. It's everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah. Makoto, good point. Whaley, she's got to be well prepared. Got to be well prepared for the madness, especially after just the nonsense she's had to go through. Not even related to this. Just wants to get in there. Period. So, yeah, and see. So James pretty much saying, yeah. I mean, because, gosh, that is quite a risk. The likelihood of a packed stadium like that is. It's probably the virus will probably show up as well, unfortunately. So
It would be nice if they did. So here's the thing. I know the world needs to get going again. I get it. Everybody wants their lives back and all that. If they were to do an outdoor stadium or whatever, not indoor, an outdoor stadium where shit is just going outside, you would be less susceptible to getting sick.
yeah,
And then
and I'm pretty
if
sure that
Florida,
they won't
if Florida
require
wanted to
masks either.
masking, exactly. I think Florida is one of the states that you don't have to fucking mask up.
So,
I know Texas is, and they're going to Houston, so there's that. But I'm pretty sure that Florida is one of them where they don't have to wear a mask.
Yeah, and drunken Americans. So that's that's a own thing as well. So, all right, all right. Let's continue
Well,
forth.
we will. I mean, I think it's clear. I think it's clear how I feel and how Drake feels at this point about this. I don't want to talk about this anymore because I mean
It's never ending.
it's never gonna end. Yeah, it's like a never ending discussion. You know, as soon as one person comes in here and they start popping off, it's gonna turn bad, and
Yeah,
I don't want that. So I don't think that we should discuss this again.
yeah. And
We've all, you and I and James has, and nobody else has really, we've let our feelings about this. I don't think that we should talk about it again.
yeah, definitely. And I will be at that event, and I am still
Yeah,
still fighting it myself. So I'll be good by then, right? We'll see. Hopefully.
I mean, I hope you don't have the Hamzat Chimaev and Cody Garbrandt long
Yeah,
haul
that would.
COVID. Like, I mean, I hope for you don't have that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. You're like, right? And I'm like, well,
Like, I know. We should
I
not
don't know.
talk about it so we don't jinx it. Like
I don't know, Drake.
yeah. That's anyway, moving on to good news. And Steve is gonna love to get into this because um he was right, and we'll let him be right here. Have his props for predicting it.
Okay, so the news.
Essentially.
Misha Tate is ending her retirement, and she's coming back to fight Marion Renault on July 17th. Another fight that's all the way in July. So I can't really get too hyped for it. I'm excited for Misha Tate. I did. Oh man, I knew, and and you said to me that that link or whatever was clickbait. I remember you said it was clickbait,
It was.
and it was. But I knew that there was something there with Misha Tate being back in the United States, back to grappling. I thought maybe she would do a tournament
Hmm.
or two, a competition or whatever, and not go straight out into a fight. But here we are. Misha Tate, the former Bantamweight champion, is back. And this is going to be Marion Renault's last fight. So this
Right.
is a welcome back fight for Misha Tate and a goodbye for Marion Renault.
Yeah. Yeah. So as we talked about when that was speculated, when Misha did move
Yeah.
back to America, I didn't think that. I at least expected that we would have seen her do a grappling match before
Well,
coming
that's
back.
we talked about that too. Like
Yeah.
I think we both agreed. We both agreed that that it would be the wise choice to do a grappling tournament or two
Yeah, kind of feel things out.
before getting
And
into a full on fight against a ranked fighter in Marion Renault.
yeah, and it's still entirely possible. I just mean like I would have expected to see the grappling match lined up, like put out there, booked before her getting a fight. But
Yeah.
it is still possible that she grapples before then. Probably not, because why risk it? Why
Yeah, I
risk
don't
it
think that she will
now?
now.
So
I don't think that she will now.
so yeah. Yeah, it's weird to think she's back though, man. I'm not mad at it as much as, I was wrong with my predictions, and you got a good job. I love Misha Tate, she's one of my favorites all time. She pretty much helped me see that the ladies were legit, swayed me a bit with that Julie Kedzie fight, one of the all-time best. And yeah, this should be a very fun one too, assuming that she can return to even half of as good as she was, like even be that good. Um, Marion Renault, still very good, as well as we talked about her fight last week against Macy, not Barber, Macy Chiasson. Very close, man. That came down to the wire, in my opinion.
Mhm.
She looked solid against a still very young and up and coming top talent in Macy Chiasson. Was
And a
able to
very
hang in
hard
there.
hitter in Macy.
Yep, survived one of the hardest hitters, in the division.
Yeah.
And Yeah, I'm looking forward to this matchup. I think it's pretty perfect for, both of them situationally. So,
I mean,
not
the
mad at it.
matchup is really good. I like the matchup. I'm just surprised by it. I wasn't expecting Marion Renault for Misha Tate.
Well, who would we have thought though? Like,
No, not somebody
it's
ranked.
tough.
I don't know. Not somebody ranked though, right?
But that's the thing. Remember with bantamweight, like the option, there's not that many. Like it's about 20 fighters or so. So somebody who's not ranked would have been like, I don't know, who would you have gone with? Like there's Stolyarenko who's out there. There's like people like that. Not to say that she's bad because Stolyarenko not, but
She just isn't ranked.
Betch, you want to do the Betch fight?
Yeah,
There we go.
I
That
would
that
like
would
to.
have been the one
Yeah, I
actually.
would like to do Misha Tate
Betch
and
versus
Bitch.
Misha.
Retire that cockroach.
Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of that could have been one to go with. So that is funny. But, let's
So
get to some
Marion Renault
comments
is
here.
now ranked number 12.
Okay.
She dropped down 3 spots. Her and Macy flip flopped. It looks like.
All right. And Lena Landsberg is still ranked, I assume.
Yeah, number 10. Sitting there, number 10.
Oh man, funny. Anyway, Rue here chiming in.
Rue. I saw Misha on the UFC 260 preview show. Just really strange. We don't know what we will see. She's only 34,
Yeah.
and she's been out for what, 5 years, 6 years?
2016.
16? Yeah, 5 years.
Yeah.
Man.
UFC 205.
Sammy asks, "Do you guys think that timing will be an issue for Tate since she hasn't fought in a while?" I don't think so. I think that she was an elite fighter. I don't think that she'll lose her eliteness. As Dominic Cruz always says, ring rust is fake.
Mental
So,
weakness.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It's a long time being out for Misha though. She's gone through a lot of body changes with pregnancies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I worry for her is about the weight cutting. I don't know.
There's that,
I don't
but
know
I feel
how to
like
react.
yeah, there's that plus I think kind of I don't know, I just had the word and I lost it, but the drive and I think she went out in kind of a bad situation in terms of people around her, kind of she was still with Caraway at the time, losing Robert Follis, like the the camp kind of surrounding her and just the mental issues she was kind of having and has talked about a little bit since then recently.
Yeah.
Now being in this spot, kind of all refreshed after, a very clear break, starting family, all this. I think having that will be able to not revitalize her maybe to exactly where she was, but I think she will definitely come in capable and probably not look affected by, ring rust or all this stuff because of these big refreshments that she's made, especially compared to where she left off on. But yeah, 5 years is a long time. It is very hard to tell, but that's why this matchup is probably at least it's as good as it's the best person you probably could have chosen out of a ranked fighter, So
Other than Lena Landsberg, yeah.
other than a pregnant Lena Landsberg. That is what it is. James here saying he thinks she'll be fine. She retired pretty young, so she's recovered. Just her timing might be off. And welcome, Zazakita. Good to see you. Love that name. Always fun to pronounce. Saying what's up. And he thinks that Tate should be able to beat a 42-year-old Marion Renault. Yeah, should be able to. But again, like, Marion, age is just a number, man. She's still quality.
She looked really good against Macy Chiasson.
Yeah, even in defeat, that was a close one, good fun one.
Ghost Phantom says a lot has happened in 5 years. She definitely had time to get better, so we will see. We definitely will see. Hopefully, because that fight is all the way in July.
Yeah, hopefully we will see. That's we gotta cross
Lot,
the fingers
a lot can
for all
happen
this
in
craziness.
between then and now.
Yeah, and also interesting note before we move on here from this fight. This is a fight night card
It is.
because the 264, as we just touched on, is the week before. So
Yep.
interesting to see. I would assume this would have to be co-main event, probably. Like I
It depends. It depends on who's on the card, I
yeah
guess. I mean, I don't know. I would assume that they would at least put Misha Tate in on the main card.
yeah. No, for sure. Of a fight night, no, absolutely. Unless the UFC's completely lost their minds.
Well, I mean they have.
They have, obviously. So,
Um, so I liked how Chatri from one championship said he put up a whole little thing
yeah,
for her, and he said good luck. He was like good luck. It was nice, very nice of Chatri. I like that guy.
yeah. Good to see some uh, friendliness or
And
cooperation of sorts to allow that,
it's nice.
and
It's really nice to see.
yeah, because Misha, of course, you guys probably know, was one championship vice president. After retiring, she went to go and do that. Lived in Singapore and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and as of at least the day before this was announced, she was still in that role, and she might even still technically be doing stuff with them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not totally sure just yet, but I do know for a fact that the day before that this stuff was out, that she was definitely. So, yeah, that's all interesting and what have you. So, this has a key to here before we move on. Drake, I was listening to the One in Power interviews. When I heard your name, I was like, hey, I know that guy. Yep. Yes. Both Steve and I were in there, actually. Steve just didn't ask any questions. He showed up a little bit late, just in time for... Who did you show up right towards?
Stamp Fairtex.
Right for Stamp. Okay. So, yeah, that was funny. He popped in all lounging in his spot. I was like, look who it is. So, yeah, the media
Fun.
day.
That was a lot of fun. I wanted to get there for Elise Anderson. But it was fun.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
she was the first one.
She was. Unfortunately, I didn't get any questions in for Stamp. Oh man, I wish I could have, but I didn't realize that it was that night.
Yeah, I know. I forgot about it too, but
Yeah,
it was good time for us.
you
Obviously,
didn't even tell me.
I didn't know you were gonna be hanging out too. Well, as I said, I kind of forgot about it till like an hour before. I was like, oh, that is tonight. But
Yeah,
yeah, that was cool stuff, you guys. Getting to see everybody chatting, hanging out. They're doing it right for, as the weird times that we're in, I think. And
freaking love one championship, man.
yep, coming up soon. What is that, next week? The first
April 6th.
event?
April
Ooh.
6th.
Yep, Demetrius fighting for the
And
title
Eddie Alvarez.
coming up. But all right, moving on to Asia, I will steer this one. Steve, as Deep Jewels, the Atomweight title tournament semifinals are set, you guys. Aya Murakami facing Hikaru Aono. Here, let me pull this up real quick. And Saori Oshima rematching Siwoo Park. And that is at Deep Jewels 33 on May 5th. Semifinals. The winners face off in the tournament. Also, Emi Tomimatsu will fight Nisei, who they're the losers from, the other fights in a reserve bout. And Seika Izawa, as you see there, taking on Miki Matono. That is a rematch for the strawweight title. I don't know if it's the main event, but it is atop in this poster at least. So that'll be a fun one. Yeah, matchups decided. They kind of spoiled it because the bottom half of the poster they showed earlier, and I think Steve, you were like, those are the semifinals, right? And I was like,
Yeah.
they didn't say, but we're like, probably, I guess. And it's I kind of wish that, and I'm sure that they did it randomly like they did initially. I'm pretty sure that's how it went.
Right.
Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if you know, but I would have much preferred to see I think Park versus Murakami, and then Aono and Oshima in the semifinals. But it is what it is, and we will see who makes it to the finals. They're both solid matchups, and Oshima versus Park won. That was a very fun fight while it lasted. Siwoo Park, I think, is probably going to win this whole thing because she's pretty much like a junior Sohee, you guys, if you have not watched her. And of course, they train together. Very, very talented. And, speaking of the media day, Zazakita, I did ask Ham about Park. So she's very high on her. Sees a bright future for her teammate.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for this Deep Jewels 33 on May 5th. Have these fights coming out. I don't know if the full card is decided, but they are filling it up, announcing things as we go. And also they announced today Otoha Nagao versus Eru Takabayashi, who Takabayashi fought on the Ryzen 26 card. She lost to Sakura, who came in overweight, but Takabayashi still looked pretty good, and she is just very solid prospect for 17 years old. So she is on the card as well. Deep Jewels 33 is looking good, you guys, and the Atomweight title, get that much closer to finding a champion. We will have a new strawweight champion between Aizawa and Motono. Motono's only losses are to, Aizawa, and then Casey O'Neill is her other loss. So, and then Aizawa undefeated herself. It's gonna be a good card. Gonna be good stuff there. We'll get more into it as it gets closer, but yeah, that is coming up. Good stuff from Deep Jewels, Steve.
Yeah,
I would say
Deep Jewels is always fun, man. They're always giving us fun tournaments.
I know, and just plenty of talent here, just all in the mix. So looks good to me. And all right, Motoko, the bending of the frying pans. What is this? Vertically. Drake knows what I'm saying. Yes, I posted the GIF of Kana bending the frying pan earlier today because it is Kana Watanabe Fight Week and Bellator Fight Week. We will get to that, you guys. But yes, if you don't know what not Zazakita, my apologies, Motoko, you can just go to my Twitter and you will see Kana's feats of strength. One of her many feats of strength that she's bending the frying pan there. And Steve, I know you saw that as well, as you said, beast in the comments. I love that. Love that she did that, and the reaction from the Ryzen Ring Girl in the background, just a great gif. So
yeah, it's pretty crazy that she's able to do that. But the cheap frying pan, of course.
Yeah, that's the secret, guys. Secret is out. I did attach that clip as well underneath from Broughton Horizon episode 3. Shameless plug for that. She was on that one, and then I talked to her when she signed with Bellator as well. Both of those on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Drake Riggs. If you want to get some Kana Watanabe content, can't go wrong with that. I got you covered. But anyways, let's get back to the news and more UFC fight announcements. Back to UFC 264. I didn't realize that they added this fight onto it as well. So flyweight night 264 a little bit, Steve.
Yeah, so Lauren Murphy will be taking on Joanne Calderwood. As Drake said, UFC 264, that's on July 10th. Very far away still. But this is a ranked fight.
Yeah,
Lauren
important
Murphy's
one.
number 3 and Calderwood is number 6. You would assume that if Lauren Murphy wins, she would get a title fight, right?
100%. She has to. That would be 5 in a row, and
Yeah.
against all ranked people except for Shakarova, which that wasn't her fault. That that was made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She just took that on late notice.
Yes, indeed. So this was the fight to make. I mean, you had so many options, but then the options, they disappeared, right? We could have done Andrade, it probably made the most sense. You could have done Murphy, Chukagian 2. That made a lot of sense as well. Both of them went in different directions. Obviously, Andrade got the title shot. Chukagian taking on Araujo, which I love that one as well. It's a fresh matchup. And then this is also a fresh one. So in terms of freshness, we got probably the best. Everything shook out pretty well, but this fight makes total sense, I would say, aside from what I just said, Steve. Is that fair, you think?
No, yeah, I think that's fair. Yeah, I like the matchup.
Ghost Phantom not in favor of a win of a title shot for Lauren Murphy.
Ghost Phantom says, as long as Murphy doesn't get title shot, even if she wins, the whole world wins. Yeah, I mean, I just think that she probably will.
She's earned it, man. Come on.
If,
Come on.
well, I mean, like Ghost Phantom, not a lot of people are fans of Lauren Murphy.
Yeah. I hear you, and I'm not telling you to be a fan of her, but just look at what she's been doing. She's on a great run right now, and if she wins against JoJo here, who, JoJo only the Jessica I win since the Jennifer Maya loss. Yeah, it'd be a big win for either of them for different reasons, sort of. But let's see, if I think the winner of this will get the title shot if Chukagian beats Arujo. If Arujo wins and Calderwood wins, I would probably think that Arujo skips over, right? I mean, if she can beat Chukagian, and then that would put her on a 3 or 4. I don't have her record up right now, but off the top of my head, that'd be very impressive. So, yeah, things at flyweight are there's options all over the place, and things are looking good, I would say.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm not mad at this matchup. I think it'll be very fun. It'll be very fucking gritty. I expect some blood in this one. Stylistically, I think that Murphy is probably a problem for JoJo if she really gets the pressure on and, takes things to the ground. Of course, her striking has improved a whole lot over this recent stretch of fights for her, I think. But, JoJo has the edge. I think that's fair to say still. I like it. I'm looking forward to this. I think it is just fine. Matchmaking, all things considered, in the division, important. Stakes on the line, works for me, man. And then, accompanied by the Maya and I fight, you would assume preceding it. Yeah, it works. I'm good with it. And what do we got here? Barbara gonna be upset if she doesn't. It's a joke there. Makoto hoping JoJo wins.
I think most people hope that JoJo will win this fight.
Yeah, and Sazakita.
Yeah, he says unfortunately. He thinks that Lauren will win it, unfortunately. I was not impressed by JoJo last fight. I think her age has catched up to her. She was so slow and unathletic looking. She just doesn't use her Muay Thai.
I mean, I thought she looked pretty good in the last fight. I thought, like, it wasn't her best performance. Don't get me wrong at all. But she did quite well and won very convincingly against Jessica I.
Well, she should have pieced Jessica I out.
Yeah, a lot more is what you're saying, but yeah. And we did see the Muay Thai in that fight. We got the knees and the elbows in there, but of course not to the same effect. Not enough. It's never enough. Never enough. But yeah. And Ghost Phantom here.
She might have earned a shot, but does Lauren bring anything different to give the champ problems?
Doesn't matter if you earned it, man. Like, I hear you. I totally hear you. But when you go on a 5-fight winning streak against practically all contenders, like, you got to reward that person, like it's the kind of the same. It's different obviously in this case to Joseph Benavidez after he lost to DJ. But if you beat fucking 6 of the top 10 guys after losing to the champ, you gotta give them another shot, even if they're going to lose for sure or whatever. I mean, even though we don't know that, but I understand what you're all saying. So, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, that is that. And so that is actually the conclusion of the news today, you guys. And before I accidentally did this in reverse order. We usually do the Twitter mailbag before the news. My apologies, everybody who's been waiting and dying for their questions to get answered. I know Ghost Phantom is one of them. Where was it? Zazakita here real quick asked this. Curious, why did Kana sign with Bellator? Was there nothing left in Ryzen for her? Yes, you're correct. There was nothing left for her in Ryzen. Literally the only just flyweight in Japan and just kind of Asia really is very, very thin. Like it's pretty much only it was only Kana, Sugiyama, Rin Nakai, who Rin Nakai might not even be fighting anymore. Like, we don't really know. And Sugiyama, she needs to get out of there as well for her own sake of,
Yeah.
progressing her career, because it was just them kind of fighting each other and whatnot, or needing to fight each other. So yeah, nothing left for Kana. She beat all the people she could, including Sugiyama. The Rin Nakai fight never materialized because things, because stuff and things. And yeah, she Kana's last fight, she made her Bellator debut in the crossover, the cross promotion to close out 2019, which was amazing. And unfortunately, we haven't seen much of it because of 2020's nonsense. But now she has signed a 4-fight deal with Bellator and making her second appearance, officially first as a Bellator fighter exclusively this weekend, or the end of the week, I suppose. And
Is it
we
Friday?
will get to that. It is Friday, yes. So. All right. Before we get into the mailbag, again, we got more comments. Did we already read this one? Yeah, we read that one from Ghost Fan. I'm sorry. Zazakita with one about the Lauren Murphy.
Yeah, he says Lauren going to try to use her physicality against Shevchenko, but shouldn't matter if the fight ever happens, since Shevchenko has fought bigger bantamweights.
Yeah,
She's fighting a smaller one next.
Yeah. So, all right, I know why I got screwed up on the mailbag now. It's because my fucking Twitter bookmarks are they're not working for some reason. I use them for this part of the show, and they're not working today or recently. So Twitter fixed that shit. But Raging Sweet Potato here coming in hot.
He asks what was the first thing that popped in your heads when you read the Misha news?
Mine was, oh, great, Steve's going to be bragging.
Mine was, fuck you, Drake, I told you.
Misha brings us together.
That's literally what I thought when I heard Misha Tate was fighting again. And I was like, yep, I told that motherfucker.
That's incredible. We thought about each other when that was announced. Makes sense. Makes sense. I think he'll get a kick out of that. Good old Rage Potato.
He has a good sense of humor.
Yeah. That is funny. All right. So, good fun one there. Now, let me just stay on the page here since my bookmarks are broken, as I said. All right, Ghost Fan. I'm a lot to unpack with this one, kind of.
I love this kind of stuff from Ghost Phantom. Right. Okay, so what's your guys' take on the article that clearly twisted Tyson's words? Was the author trying to start something? And then there was, which led to the misleading headline from CGTV about Zhang Weili to Mike Tyson. You know nothing about MMA. And then Ghost Phantom goes on to say, I saw the full interview, and what she actually said was, I think he should comment about MMA after practicing it. MMA is a comprehensive sport, so it's not just about boxing. It involves legs, knees, elbows, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu. If he comments on, scroll down, please. 2 boxers he's qualified, but this is MMA.
All right, and let's see. I think he said something else here. Yeah, can we explain?
Oh, and then he said, can you explain what these authors get out of twisting people's words? This doesn't really hype the fight or anything. It's just weird.
This is what they get.
Yeah, it's all about that click. They make money off of you guys clicking their links. Drake and I, mostly Drake, he writes way more articles than I do now, but Drake and I have never did the clickbait thing. It bothers both of us
tremendously
that they do the clickbaits, and there was MMA Mania who was the one, like the one in MMA who did all the clickbaity shit. What was his name? What's his name? Who does that? MMA Mania. Can't even remember his name.
Jesse?
Yes,
Okay.
Jesse.
Jesse Holland.
Jesse
Yeah,
Holland. Yeah, yeah, yeah. MMA Mania was that's all they did were clickbait headlines. They just wanted your click for that money. The same thing for this. They want you to read their article, and they don't really care if they're right or wrong. Nagao said, I speak Chinese fluently, and I saw the CGTN interview. Wiley's tone was more amused and comedic. I guess a translation issue.
I don't even know about that. Very interesting.
Okay, so Zazakita says,
Sorry.
Wiley doesn't seem to be trash talking type anyways. She isn't. When has she ever trash talked anybody? We haven't heard that from her. Why would she talk about one of the best boxers ever? Like, to stay his lane. That's not her. That's not like who she is, you know?
Especially of somebody of that status. She's very respectful of people
Respectful
like that.
literally anybody. Like, I don't know. I that was the first time. So thank you, Ghost Phantom, for even bringing this up to us. I hadn't even seen any of this, and it's just weird, man. It's odd. Like, I've never understood the whole clickbait headlining thing, other than just for your money, to bring in their own revenues. But what do they get out of it? That's it. That's all they get. That's all they get out of it. And us and randoms like us talking about them, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I appreciate this, Ghost Phantom, saying, the story I did with her back before the Tisha Torres fight literally gave a good insight on Whaley's personality. Really appreciate that, man. And yeah, I mean, we had a very, very nice conversation back for that story, and she was very real with me, very open, honest, just fun person. That was really kind of the first time. It was before we kind of got to know her better, of course. Not to toot my own horn or anything, but that really, was a good. I think I did a good job opening up people's insights to seeing her. But yeah, this whole thing with these stories that you're pointing out, Ghost Phantom, it's very odd to me, and I don't at all want to go down kind of the path of, I think, what you and maybe some other people have presented recently about villainizing, Whaley or Chinese fighters or, Asian people specifically. I don't want to say that necessarily, but it's easy to make that claim or argument, all things considered. And for somebody like Whaley, who doesn't do this stuff, she does not talk shit. She's very respectful. We don't hear from her very often. So when she does speak, people are going to be even worse about clickbaiting or trying to bullshit something to get the attention. And I don't think it's villainizing. It could be, there's a possibility for that. I don't know exactly who the source of the person who did the interview and whatever, what their agenda could be. There could be one, who knows? I'm not going to say there is, but I think that when you consider Whaley doesn't speak to media very much anymore, or just put things out there talking about fighting, and the fact that she is very respectful, it's a lot harder for people just to give out the truth and a story that they think will get, eyeballs, which is really dumb considering this is a very popular world champion. It's very short-sighted, and the writers don't have enough belief in themselves, this is my opinion, to where they think they can create an interesting story off of what an athlete is genuinely giving them. So they feel the need to put out some garbage that might not be completely accurate. And a good excuse is to say, like as Akita pointed out, or was that Makoto again? My apologies, guys, keep mixing up. About a good excuse is saying, oh, translation issue. I didn't have a translation issue with her at all. Like, it's very easy not to be a dickhead. Just put some effort and work into it if you really care. I don't think that the people who do this really care about this sport and
they don't.
Longevity in their careers, considering we don't generally know who the people are that are doing this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I don't know who they are.
Exactly. So
that was my first, literally, when Ghost Phantom tagged us. That was literally my first time even seeing any of this.
Yeah.
So Makoto said, she literally said Mike Tyson is a very good boxer, and then he has a couple more things. The question was framed to her was, what do you think of Tyson saying Rose destroys you? Did Tyson even say that though?
So yeah, that's the thing is I'm not totally sure if Tyson said it that way, but that type of question is so it's an instigation. That's an instigation question.
It's 100% is instigation. I mean,
and it's even worse if that is not what he said.
They want they wanted Whaley to bite.
Yes, exactly.
And then Kodo goes on to say she was very respectful to Tyson in their interview, and then the last one said she even gave props to Rose and Tyson.
Yeah, it is interesting, man. I don't know.
Honestly, it's nice to see Whaley being talked about, but we don't want it in this way.
No, because it's not even really about her. It's using her. It's using her.
It's not about her at all. It's about her. It's about maybe what she said or what she didn't say.
Right.
Rather than about the fighter themselves.
Yeah.
I hate this kind of shit. It's annoying. And it's not good for the sport. It's not good for the fighters.
No, and that's also a thing is you notice that this kind of stuff, I mean, in this situation in particular too, it's not coming from a top MMA website. Like, we know that Junkie or Fighting or more well-respected, legitimate MMA media people typically, wouldn't have done this. It still happens with some people, maybe from time to time, but
and that's why we haven't really heard of this. None of the bigger sites are hitting on this at all because it's not fucking true.
Yeah,
because nobody wants it, because they're better than that. Ghost Phantom says no, Tyson didn't say that about Whaley. He was saying that Rose was a killer in general. See, that's totally different than saying Rose is going to kill Whaley. And then another outlet.
That's something that Brendan Shaw probably said. We're going to be honest. That's probably what he said. Sorry to mention his name on our show, Steve. I apologize.
Whatever. It's kind of like Brian Campbell,
Yeah. Gee, there's another one.
Brian Campbell thing.
There's another one. So.
See, if Luke Thomas was to say this, I would be like, oh, okay, well, maybe it's true, But these are outlets and people that we've never even heard of in MMA. They don't care about the sport. They don't care. Obviously, they don't care about the fighters. They spun something. They spun it and made it look like it was much bigger than what it is.
Yeah, that's it's a really shitty talent to have, because like, good job for being able to do that. Am I being too generous?
Like you're that's total douchebaggery to do that kind of stuff. can't stand it, man. It's not.
Because it's like a one and done thing. Like if you think they're
It's
gonna
not
want to
media.
talk to you after that.
It's not media. It's not journalism at all. That's bad. That's like the exact opposite of what a journalist should do. They're not journalists. It's the TMZ type of
Yeah.
crap. Like it's not good. It's not good for anybody
Right.
other than them. That's it. That's all. That's who it's good for. That's it. Ghost Phantom said, I did my digging, watched her interview with subtitles. She's incredibly humble and is focused on making herself better. That's all that matters. That's all we care about for Whaley. I don't care, man. I mean, thank you, Ghost Phantom, for bringing this up to us, because I mean, eventually we probably would have seen it as we get closer to her fight. I hope that other outlets don't bite on this. I really do hope that other outlets don't bite.
I think it's like a week and a half old, right? Ghost Phantom. So like I think that we're probably in the clear, hopefully, where people were like, this is bullshit. People who looked into it maybe. So
Yeah.
hopefully, but yeah. So
And Makoto says, what I like about Whaley is that she didn't bite, but even though she gave respect, people still twisted what she said. It's always going to happen. That always happens. But I mean, it's just it's annoying because she's not a talker, and for her to actually like do an interview and then
yeah, you're pushing that person back into hiding, or not hiding, but like their shell, kind of.
yeah, like why would you do that to her? That's just disrespectful to Whaley and to Rose and to Mike Tyson.
Yeah. I
I mean,
don't want to piss him off.
it's disrespectful to all three of them.
And to the intelligence of the readers.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, okay,
to the community.
well, okay, so you guys, obviously, Drake and I didn't even have a clue about this, but you guys did, obviously. What did you guys think when you heard all of this? Like,
Well, I glanced over this kind of when it came out, but I just, I've been doing this for long enough now to where I could just kind of smell it out. I'm like,
yeah,
I'm sure
yeah.
she did not. And having, knowing her enough to be like, all right, there's that. There's one of those, like you just kind of have a sense for it after so long.
Yeah.
So, but I'm happy to always go into it and call people out on their nonsense when presented.
For
So,
sure.
do appreciate that, Ghost Phantom. We are not afraid to just tell the truth and have set things right in this mad world.
Yeah, I mean, there's just too much. There's too much of good stories in MMA to bring
Yeah.
out these bad, stupid, not true things.
Yeah.
Sammy says, I saw the article and tried to find Whaley's interview, and they leave a bunch of stuff out.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Ghost Phantom, you're welcome, and thank you again for dropping those links, because I had no clue. I had absolutely no clue about it. I don't pay attention to that kind of crap. I really don't. I really don't pay attention to that kind of crap. And like Drake said, it's easy to weed them out now.
Yeah.
Very easy to see, even like on the timeline. Very easy to see a one-liner, and you're like, that's bullshit. I'm gonna keep going. I see it all the time. To be honest, and not just in MMA, in sports in general. Sports are bad. Sports are terrible for twisting words.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a shame. It really is.
James said, yes, I saw it. And the first thing I thought was, why do this to Whaley? Whaley is nothing like this. She's, dude, we don't even hear from her. And why all of a sudden, when we do hear from her, she would throw shots at Mike Tyson? Like, it's just weird. It's weird. Bunch of weirdness, man.
Yeah, not great. And yeah, Rain totally right too, saying it's just terrible. More people won't know more about her personality, which she really does have a great personality. And when you kind of see, her speak and be herself, or behind the scenes stuff, whatever, it's always really fun just to see her let loose. And yeah, this kind of stuff is why people don't feel comfortable. So hopefully she just continues to do her thing, I guess, and hopefully be better people. I mean, I know the people who do that don't watch our show, thankfully. Hopefully. So is
Well,
what it is.
even if they do, fuck you.
There's that as well.
Why don't you tell the truth
Oh,
and not twist words? I mean, that's the the fighters don't get anything out of it. It
right.
makes them look bad. It makes them look bad, and I mean, we don't want that for the sport and for the fighters. That's not what should be wanted.
No, not at all. So, all right. So that was very solid mailbag today, I would say. And I apologize for pushing it later on, you guys, but thank you for sticking around. And I'm sure Raging Sweet Potato, I think he catches the show after live. If he does catch it at all, sir, appreciate the question. And then Ghost Phantom, of course, bringing it up. And yeah, Rue, see, he spotted it out himself too when he came across it. Knew
Yeah.
something was fishy. Looked up the CGTN interview, and most respectful thing she said was taken out. Yeah, just it's it's unfortunate, man. That's really the only way we could sum it up, and hopefully, we see some nice, wholesome Whaley content before the fight.
I think
And
we
I'm
will.
I'm still trying to get a hold of her, but champ now, champ life, and these guys are not making it easier for me to get in contact with her anymore. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe we can put things together when we're in Florida. That would be amazing, but
She
who
just
knows?
doesn't. She just doesn't want to deal with that. You know.
She shouldn't have to either. That's the thing is, these people shouldn't have to deal with that, but people are assholes. So,
So was that essentially sports? Who wrote that article?
the Tyson one, I think.
Okay.
I closed the window.
I'm looking at it on my phone. She destroys you. Mike Tyson warns Zhang Weili about Rose. That was by Essentially Sports. And then that misleading headline was from CGTV. Uh, Zhang Weili to Mike Tyson, you know nothing about MMA. Craziness, man. That's crazy.
Gotta love it. Sarcasm, total sarcasm. What we do gotta love though, Steve, is let's get to the preview now. Bellator is back, everybody, which is chef's kiss. Phenomenal news. It's gonna be a fun fucking month of action. Just one women's fight this weekend, but it's a goddamn good one at 125 pounds. The premier women's division in Bellator. Let's do it. Let's break it down, Steve.
Yeah, so Alejandra Lara will be taking on Kanal Watanabe in her Bellator debut. Her
Return. The official day. Yeah.
Yeah, her
Contractual
contractual
debut.
debut. She did have one fight in Bellator, which was her last fight, right?
Yes.
And man, this is a really interesting fight. I like it. I like this fight. It's fun. It's a fun one. They're both exciting fighters.
Yes, they are. This is a very fun matchup. And, when it was made, I think we both agreed, like, this is fucking perfect matchmaking, considering all of the talent, the top five, top six-ish range of, women they have, and where they are, who's all floating around the title and what have you, who's can make the climb. This is pretty perfect matchmaking. And, Kana coming in after making that official Bellator debut, and now her I guess you could say, real debut, the contractual debut, as you said, after beating Alara Joanne on that was the Bellator Japan card, Bellator 238, I believe it was. Getting the late TKO third round finish. You love to see it. And then as for Alejandra Lara, has rebounded very nice. He looked good since her, you know, last two losses, which were to the only Bellator champions in the flyweight history, Aaliyah Malay and Juliana. So no shame in those.
Not really.
And yeah, very good performances against Taylor Turner and Veda Arteaga since then. In terms of competition, Kana, I think, will be a step up, definitely from Taylor Turner, and then Veda Arteaga as well.
Yeah.
But, Veda closer to that level. Very, very excited for this, man. I think it's going to be good. Lara striking, coming along very, very nicely. She was vicious, nasty with the elbows in that Veda fight. Like, goodness. That was, and head kicks. She just was on fire in that one. Couldn't put away the always very tough and durable Veda Arteaga. And Kana, we
opportunities too.
Yeah.
She just couldn't because Arteaga's so tough.
Yeah, it's props to Veda in that regard for sure. So yeah, and then as for Kana, we know that her weakest area of her game, not to say that she is, a bad striker or anything, but she is well aware that isn't her strong point, because she is a phenomenal judoka, black belt in judo. That is her strength. She is a great grappler. Once she gets a hold of people, they are in trouble, and that will be the case here in this one. Alejandra Lara will want to keep the range, kind of strike from the outside, because Kana does pack power. She has those 2 wins over Shizuka Sugiyama, who we mentioned earlier, which very, very impressive wins for Kana, who in their first fight that they had, Shizuka versus Kana, that was only Kana's second MMA fight. And, she beat somebody as experienced as Shizuka Sugiyama. And then in the rematch, she TKO'd her in 11 seconds. A little bit of a questionable stoppage, but she still, put it on her in a very quick fashion to get that win. So her striking is getting better too. And here's the thing too, is that people will probably mention the fact that she didn't fight at all last year, because as we also mentioned earlier, I think Zazakita, could be wrong, could be Makoto, as I've been mixing them up all night. But she hasn't fought last year because, first of all, no one left to fight, and the pandemic, which made it even harder. People will look at that. Oh wait, all right, is she going to come in rusty? Will she come in? I don't think so, because she's been competing her whole life pretty much, and she hasn't been out for injury reasons. She's been training just as fucking hard as ever. And the thing that's very interesting to me about her time off is, having spoken to her twice in the time span of since maybe October-ish, November, I've spoken to her. We talked about how, like, the fact that she's had this time to just not fight or be in a fight camp specifically training for one person, that she's just really been able to improve and work on herself and, get her striking better, and like these skills of improving her arsenal rather than like working and training, preparing to beat one specific person, which I think is very interesting. How, that's something that a lot of people don't get that luxury, and maybe, it would be better for some fighters to have that time to just do that. And maybe we'll see that pay off here in this one. Not sure. Time will tell on Friday, as you know. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And Sammy, I have definitely seen Kana's YouTube channel. Many of these Japanese fighters, you guys have YouTube channels, and they are all quite entertaining. Kana is always doing some pretty, funny stuff, little skits and sketches kind of in the gym with Fighters Flow and
She's a really
whatnot.
good
Yeah, she is definitely fun, capable of being a star. And I mean, geez, just that GIF I posted earlier today, she retweeted it, and my fucking notifications are a mess. Like that thing is just all over the place. Makoto giving her a shout too, saying she's awesome. Yeah, man, Kana is really fun. I always enjoy talking to her. Great personality, very fun fighter, undefeated. If you love judo, if you love grappling, these are the fighters you gotta love watching. Am I right, Steve? You love some good grappling, some powerful grapplers who can also pack a punch. I mean, that's Kana. Just like
this is gonna be a really fun fight, just because I mean, Watanabe is better, obviously, on the ground than Lara,
Hmm.
but give Lara the edge on the feet.
Yeah, no, I would say so.
Yeah. So it's we'll see where they go, where they take it. If Lara can keep her distance from Kana, she doesn't want to go to the ground because if she gets thrown and then on the ground, it
It's
might
probably game over.
it might be a very short time there because
Yeah.
Kana will probably finish. Um, so I mean, Lara needs to stay keep it standing
Hmm.
and and throw those elbows again. Those elbows were working beautifully. She
Yeah,
mixes it up.
yeah, she does. She does very well, especially on these recent two fights that she's had, and just very fluid with her striking overall. Her movement, like, has just looked so much better after taking those losses. Like a really
And she's
big
changed.
improvements in his nastiness kind of coming from her. But you mentioned the elbows, and that's a risk. That's a dangerous strike
Yeah,
to go for and getting close to somebody like Kana. So I think distance management will be absolutely key for her in this one. And I do think kind of for the reasons I pointed out, I think that Kana will surprise a lot of people with her improvements that she probably made during this time. Of course, that's still a question mark,
yeah,
but just so much time to hone her overall skill set. And I think that she will be able to hold her own in the striking, probably, make it fairly competitive, but I think Lara will be able to edge her out with the versatility and fluidity of her striking on the feet for the most part. And then, of course, if things hit the mat, it's going to be tough for Alejandra Lara to get away from, everything that Kana presents in that area. So, I don't know, man. I think that the safe pick here is Kana because she will need it's
yeah,
a lot of time for Lara to have to avoid getting taken down, and the big question will be if she can knock out Kana in that time frame, which I don't know if she
yeah. I
will
don't
be
think
able
so.
to.
I don't think that she can knock her out. I think that she can. I think that she can keep her if she's able to keep her distance, like what we've been saying. That the fight will be better for her,
Hmm.
but it's her getting taken down.
Yeah.
When she gets taken down, it's not going to be good for her at all.
Yeah, and that's also kind of an interesting thing is that in these two fights, these two wins that Lara has had against Ortega and Turner, she didn't really need to defend takedowns or, the opponents
Yeah,
in
no,
Vita and Turner
like at
didn't
all.
really,
They were just
you know,
standing there in front of her.
just taking it.
Yeah,
just and well, I mean, Lara did end up finishing Turner on the ground there with the ground and pound, but it was, I believe, from she might have taken it down. I don't remember exactly how that sequence wound up being, but either way, it wasn't like she was facing grappling heavy offenses as opposed to, Ali Malay who armbarred her in their fight and
yeah,
really exposed kind of her defensive issues, and then Velasquez didn't quite do the same thing as McFarland did, but was still able to exploit that, get the win there. So yeah, because of that, it's like it makes it even more difficult of a matchup for her. But it's still a good matchup, I think, in both regards in certain aspects. But for me, I think Kana will probably. I could see this going pretty similar to in terms of like the ebb and flow and success points of Kana versus Joanne actually in her last fight, where Joanne like just edged the first round with her striking in like those first what was it like 3.5 minutes, and then Kana got her down at the end of that round, but still didn't quite win it maybe, and then kind of took over after that, and then got the finish in the third round. So I think yeah, I think Kana probably I'm gonna say submission round three in this one.
yeah, yeah. I want Laura to show up and show out, her improvements. But
Hmm.
I just think that Kana's the better fighter. all
Yeah.
around better fighter.
She'll probably
Uh,
have a pretty decent strength at edge too against a lot of people. Like very physically imposing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, um, yeah. I think that Kana probably finishes the fight. You said three,
mhm.
two or three sounds about right. Closer to three, probably. I'm with you.
Yeah. Strikes or submission.
No, I think it's I think she's gonna submit her.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the
I'm
way.
excited though,
That's
man.
got to be the way
I'm
for her.
yeah. Yeah, you would think.
Yeah,
I think we could see her like open up a rear naked or something with like some ground and pound. Um, she'll definitely have some success with both of those, I think. But
it's gonna be
I'm
hard,
just
this Phantom. It's gonna be hard. He
yeah,
said
exactly.
Laura keeping her distance for 3 rounds is going to be hard on her cardio. It's gonna be tough, man. Oh, I don't think that she's gonna be able to do it. That's why I think that's why Drake and I are both picking a finish in the third round for Kana. It's just because of that. It's gonna be really tough for Laura. I mean, Laura can surprise us though.
Hmm.
She has a great camp. She's at uh, in Mexico. Lo, the hell's the
Oh, is she with Lobo now?
yeah, she's at Lobo.
Oh,
She's
okay. I
with
didn't know that.
Montana
Alexa,
and Alexa Grasso.
Karina
Yeah,
Rodriguez,
yeah, Rodriguez.
Kerry
Yeah,
Rod, Diego Lopez. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that. Um, yeah, that is definitely helpful. But styles make fights, and sometimes there's just little X factors. But
yeah. And Laura has a hard time when she's mounted.
yeah, we
She
saw that against Aleem
the
Malay.
Malay, like Drake said earlier, exposed her.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
definitely her weakness.
yeah. So yeah, oof, man, she got mounted a lot against Aleem. Now that I remember, like she was
Yeah,
getting in there
but I mean
for
that's
sure.
Malay's game, and that's not hers.
Yeah,
I think the two fights that we've seen after that, I think that Laura would do better against Elaine Malay now.
yes, no, for sure, I agree with that. But but
It
then
wouldn't
then also like we haven't
it wouldn't
seen
be as easy for Elaine Malay
right, right.
the second time around. Not saying that
Yeah,
Elaine Malay probably wouldn't submit her again because she probably would, but
yeah,
yeah, I don't think it would be as easy.
yeah. So just excited to see things back and rolling for Bellator in general, man. Like, gosh, it's felt like so long. It has
Well,
felt
yeah, it's been a long time.
4 months, pretty
Is
much.
this their longest layoff?
It's had to have been. I can't think off the top of my head
Yeah,
of a bigger one.
I don't think that they're even during the pandemic. Like at the height of the pandemic, they came back when they
Yeah.
when they went to Connecticut.
And then even transitioning when Viacom bought them and all that kind of stuff. I don't.
Yeah, and for the people in the United States, these fights will be on Showtime too.
Yes.
This is their first card on Showtime.
I think they're on YouTube too, actually.
Are they?
Um, I say that because I know that from following Kana, she was pointing out earlier today about how people in Japan can't watch Showtime. So then she shared the YouTube link, which is to the main card, and I was like, oh, okay. I guess it looks like it's on YouTube as well. We'll see. We will see. But she shared that if you guys want to go check that out on her
I, want,
profile. There's
I wonder if it's just for like overseas people.
it worked for me. Like it didn't say that it's not available in my country, so I don't know.
Yeah, but once the fights actually start,
Right. Yeah.
you know,
It
I
has
wonder.
the timer on it and all that. So
Hmm,
yeah,
okay.
we'll see. But yeah, if they should help out the the international fighters if they're having troubles with that. So we'll see how that all works out. But either way, we think Kana Watanabe is going to keep the unbeaten streak going. You guys,
Yeah,
let us know what you think in the comments below. I know
I think we
you
know
guys who
how
are
Angelina
here with
feels.
us. Yeah, everybody seems to be leaning for Miss Watanabe as well. The judoka. You gotta love some
Yeah,
pure judo in MMA, man. I feel like it's not exactly a dying breed of an art, but like when you don't see judokas like Kana too much anymore, which is
yeah.
always really fun.
I mean,
So
Kayla Harrison.
yeah, I mean, her. That's when it comes to those pure judo players. They're probably top two off the top of my head anyway.
Literally
We,
is.
we, we know that Velasquez, the champ, is also very good, but like when you think of Velasquez, you don't think of her judo right away because she's got pretty much total package, And
Right.
even Keel Holtz, fantastic striker as well, the former kickboxing champion.
Yeah,
Like,
she's more of a striker.
yeah, yeah. So good fun. Sammy mentioning Hebus, but yeah, see, not even
Not
close to
even,
the same level.
not even, not even
so,
close. But
so
I don't think that there's anyone close to Kayla Harrison and Kana. Really?
yeah, I mean, it probably the two people we just mentioned, and then even then, it's like there's still a decent
There would
gap.
be a big dip. There would be a big dip, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, but hopefully we get to find out for Kana versus either of them
Those
soon.
judo pros, dude.
Oh yeah,
I want to
gotta
see
love
him.
it. Want to see him. But all right, we're coming up here 2 hour mark as we have been in the last couple of weeks, you guys. Fun one, fun ride, lots to get into. Actually, I think this lineup was smaller than, yeah, same as 41, but not last week, a smaller one. Just one fight, but it's a good one, you guys. Looking forward to it, as we said already. But that is all we
How
got
sad
for
is
you
it that we
today.
don't have UFC this week?
It's not that sad. We're shaking things up. We got different promotions. So
Not big
it is
breaks
what
from
it
the
is.
UFC.
Take it, take it. Yeah, Ghost Phantom mentioning Whaley with her Chinese wrestling and kind of, the Sanda background, which is a little bit all of that stuff. Yeah, not so much though. In terms of that pure,
Yeah.
crispy judo, Kayla and Connor up there, double K. But
Ronda
yeah,
Rousey.
you guys, Rhonda, yes. Follow us, like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, you guys. At Drake Riggs _, at Steve K _MMA, at the Scrap News, all the places you can find us and all that good stuff. What do you got, Steve? What do you got going on, man? Keep talking about these MMA inks. Have I been missing them? Are they out
No,
now?
no, I'm just not picking
Okay.
out. I have a couple of them done. There's got to be editing done.
Right, right.
I'm just behind in life.
Aren't we all, brother? Aren't we fucking all?
Yeah, but yeah,
Crazy times.
yeah, I need
Yes.
to, yeah, I need to get my shit together. I guess
Yep, you and me both.
I have
But
I have other interviews lined up. I don't think any this week, but next week I think I have like at least two. I have two for sure next week, and then working on a third one for
very nice.
next week, maybe the week after. I'm not sure. Um, but yeah, I have two interviews that I really need to get out.
Well, we'll be waiting. We will be waiting. As for me, yeah, I have 3 interviews this week as well. One tomorrow, the next day, and the next day, back to back to back. And tomorrow, got a big one. Somebody I've talked to before, former champ. I'm not gonna say anything more than that, but excited to catch up with this person again. Always good times with them. So looking forward to that tomorrow, and then the other 2 will be very good ones as well. One person who we mention somewhat frequently, at least once a month, and we will be talking about them coming up here as well. No spoilers though, you guys. Just a little teasing, of course. And I did want to mention this before before we go too, because I said last week that the Invicta announcement would be Tuesday, which clearly it has gotten pushed back again, and I'm hoping tomorrow. I did not. I haven't messaged Shannon since then because I just assumed if there's nothing tomorrow, I will be like, hey, is everything okay? But I'm assuming tomorrow, but no promises, obviously, as the announcement's been pushed back twice because it was supposed to be the week before last week. And obviously that didn't happen, so I'm very sorry to get everybody's hopes up, but hopefully things are all right and we hear it all come out tomorrow. But if not, then I will get to the bottom of things for you. But Invicta, man, I'm excited for Invicta coming back. And that was a small bit of news, too, I guess we could throw out there. Maria Oliveira got signed to Invicta, as I pointed that out on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, 12-4 prospect. Usually fights at strawweight. She was in the atomweight tournament for Ryzen in 2017. Lost to Kana Asakura to get knocked out of that, and then went to the Brazilian Contender Series. Lost to Marina Rodriguez. No shame in that. Since then, has looked very good, getting back on track.
Good losses.
Yeah, indeed. And now she's dropping back down to atomweight when she gets in Invicta. So one to keep an eye on, 24, 23 years old, I think, still. And with, racking up the experience, 12-4, as I said there. So Makoto, that Invicta news it's very good news, trust me. If nothing has changed besides just pushing the announcement back, big things, my man. Like, don't worry. Like I said, assuming nothing has changed too drastically besides just the announcement, future is incredibly bright for Invicta, you guys, and I'm very excited for everybody to hear it. And Steve, I see your frustration, but it's business stuff, right, you guys? It's how business goes. So, as I said,
I want to talk about it.
We cannot talk about it. We'll talk off air. So the suspense, indeed, it is killing everybody. I've gotten messages about it as well from other people. So aside from those interviews coming up this week, you guys, I recently dropped the top 5 bantamweight fights of all time, women's bantamweight fights. And I'm working now. I have featherweight and bantamweight out. Next, I'll be doing strawweight. This is for fan-sided. And then we'll get to flyweight and atomweight, of course, for top 5 all-time best fights. Doing thorough research for that, of course. I've done the top 20 best fights in the past collectively between all divisions. So now just kind of breaking it up to give more love to some fights that didn't make that top 20. But if you want to see a little bit of a glimpse of those, you can check out top 20 greatest fights of all time. What is it? The women of MMA 20 greatest fights. I don't know. If you search 20 greatest women's MMA fights or something, that will come up. So if you want to see that, I got you covered. And aside from that, just always doing stuff on the Body Lock. Go over to that channel. Check out the great stuff we're doing there. Fun stuff weekly with Pat Auger, Matt Wells, and Ant Walker. I'm probably leaving stuff out, but forgive.
Did we lose Drake? Is Drake gone? I think we lost Drake, guys. The suspense. Is Drake going to reappear? Or is he not?
What happened?
There we are.
All right, let's wrap it up. The connection's telling me to go, obviously.
We're back. Yes, thank you, Phantom, for bringing up all the clickbait news on Whaley. Loved it. So, yes. Thank you to everybody for showing up and talking with us every week, even on our new day, on a time that changed a little bit because of me. And then, of course, everybody who doesn't come into the comments, thank you. We appreciate you guys. But especially to the people who do talk to us on a weekly basis. Sammy, Ghost Phantom, Makoto, James, Alex was here. Rain,
yeah.
Bro, Am I missing anybody? Does
James?
Akita?
James Kendrick?
Yes, James. It said James. I think he was one of the
Okay.
first ones.
I
Um,
always miss people when I apologize, everybody.
until next week, stay healthy and stay safe and stay sane. Stay sane. Peace, y'all.
Peace.